Dan Kuhn, one of the feature starters here at CoinDesk, had a really great piece, I thought, that was looking and took a deep dive into kind of the state of play in Puerto Rico around crypto. This is not a new narrative per se, right? Like we've sort of seen Puerto Rico, because of a lack of capital gains tax, which greatly impacts crypto, using individuals, really be an attractive place for sort of the nouveau riche of crypto in a lot of different ways, beginning not least of which in 2017 around the previous bull run, but also, Brock Pierce, a prominent crypto personality and, uber wealthy individual, sort of talking about Cryptotopia as putting together a sort of enclave of crypto-focused endeavors on the island. This piece was interesting because I thought it showed both the highs and the promise and the lows of the reality of when the sort of ambitions of crypto meet the, as we affectionately call it, like the meat space of the real world. But Will, I see you nodding. I'm curious to get your thoughts on this piece and what it kind of shows us about the larger ecosystem of crypto when it comes to localities that have been espoused as being incredibly beneficial for individuals who tend to traffic in cryptocurrency.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I'd say go read this piece. I think Dan is one of the better writers in the space out there. He really has like a knack for kind of capturing the magic around a moment. So really awesome piece from him. I think Puerto Rico, obviously, just like the tax haven status is really interesting. And then there's also some interesting dynamics when you kind of think about like what Puerto Rico is in the US. Like it's from the US's really imperialistic age, like at the turn of the century, and they capture that island, and it's the US's now, but they don't have states' rights, and now they're kind of in this weird zone where they are a tax haven for the ultra rich, but at the same time, the people on the island often don't get the benefits of that. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But as we saw like last year or 2 years ago with I think Hurricane Maria, I think was that hurricane, it came through, just kind of devastated the island, and Dan kind of worked through that in the piece as well, kind of noting how crypto came there after the last bull cycle and it helped to a degree, but not enough. Like there's still not a lot of electricity on the island, not a lot of running water in some places. And then you have Bitcoin whales coming in, just sitting on the beach enjoying that they don't have to pay capital gains taxes. So there's a lot of intersection here in this piece. And I guess just in terms of predictions, I think that it makes sense for something like Puerto Rico to keep growing and being popular among like the crypto wealthy, just as we've seen like with other tax havens around the Caribbean or in other countries like Portugal. It just makes sense for that to happen, but it does really capture like the human element of this story that money goes to some people's pockets, but it doesn't go into everybody's pockets. Naomi, I want to get your thoughts on this. Do you have like any friends who have moved there? I feel like there's got to be someone who's kind of like made the transition down there just based on like their crypto living.
Yeah, I'd say like a large double-digit percentage of my friends live in Puerto Rico. I'll push back on that idea of like, well, these are people who are just laying on the beach and enjoying this tax-free life. Like, from what I've seen there, and I've been down there, it's really exciting what's happening there, and all of the businesses that are just flourishing down there. People just bringing new jobs to the area as well. I mean, they're really developing lots of areas, and it's not just in the crypto space. It's like hospitals and airports and all kinds of things. This is early days. So I definitely don't think we've seen the full potential of people moving there. These are people who want a good place to live. They don't want to be running generators. A lot of my friends are still using generators there because the power grid is not good. But there are a lot of people working on that. It's just a very bureaucratic and tough process to get through. But a lot of smart minds who are really trying to make things better, even just for themselves. But there are positive externalities of that do flow out to everyone else. If they can fix the power grid for themselves, everyone gets to benefit from that. I want to talk about like this idea of like this loophole, because I know that this is a term that's thrown around a lot about Puerto Rico, where they say, well, this is a tax loophole and people are taking advantage of it. I would say that it's the tax system working exactly as designed. Puerto Rico very intentionally set up this situation where they do not have capital gains. They have other taxes, so there's corporate taxes and there's property taxes and sales taxes as well, but there's no capital gains. And they did that specifically because they really wanted to encourage businesses to move there. And now businesses are moving there because the situation in America on the mainland is just, it's crazy in a lot of ways for businesses. And especially with the devastation of the last couple of years, we've seen businesses really trying to hang on, and they're looking for ways where they can, continue to exist as companies. And so, taking advantage of all of the wonderful regulation that Puerto Rico has has set out has actually, they've succeeded in their mission. If they're trying to get lots of businesses moving there, they've got a ton, and the momentum is huge. If you talk to people in the crypto industry, I not only know a lot of people who live there. I'm talking to people who are considering moving there because they're saying, it's a great place to raise a family. It's not just about the business side of things. It's just a really wonderful place. So very excited to see what the future of that is, and really hope that it lifts everyone in the region, which I'm predicting that it will.